Alrighty folks, we are starting today off with a bit of a drive. We're gonna be heading up to Elkhart, Indiana, right up to the Michigan-Indiana border to pick up some sheet metal for the bus. So it's about an hour trip. It's a cloudy, rainy day. I got the trailer on the back because I didn't feel like driving back with sheet metal on top of my head. And another project in the works. Well, we got it. Stopped at a 7-Eleven in Bristol, met Doug, and got the goods. And quite honestly, like, really cool kind of God thing too. So he builds trailers, which is awesome. I told him that I was wanting to possibly upgrade this trailer at some point in time, because it's really not, I mean, it fits all the gear right now, but might need something just a little bit bigger depending on what we take out on tour with us. And he owns a trailer building company, which is awesome. So definitely gonna save his number and give him a call when I need to upgrade my trailer. But the pieces that he had, I was looking for 4x8 sheets. Well, when I measured the spot on the bus that I need to fill it or put it over, I really only needed like a 4x6, and even that's a little bit long. But basically, like, I didn't need as much as I was getting. I was like, well, like, that's what he has, so I'll do it. Well, he called me this morning. He's like, hey, they're actually like 4x6 sheets, is that okay? I was like, it's perfect. So got it in the trailer, headed back home. I might stop at Menards and see if I can get some flooring so I can fix that project, since I already have the trailer out. But yeah, super pumped that we got this part of it done, or at least purchased. So I need to get some, he was telling me about some flex sealant stuff, whatever that would be, perfect for getting this stuff to make sure that it marries well and never comes off. Super nice guy. Really appreciate you, Doug. Thanks so much for hooking me up. And now we get to go start the rest of it and head on back home. Well, we are almost all the way back to the house. I stopped at Menards on the way so that I could get the flooring and the ceiling. So those two, or at least the wood for those. We still got to do a lot more welding in order to be able to put the walls in, but I can probably get the ceiling up, because the only thing that I'm waiting on for that is literally just figuring out my wiring diagram for where I'm going to put ceiling lights in. And if I decide not to do the ceiling lights, like little puck lights or whatever, then I can put that up, and then we'll just have side lighting. So if I decide to do the ceiling lights, then that's really the only thing I'm waiting on, is cabling stuff for that. But if not, then I can go ahead and throw the roof up, or the ceiling up, and then all the insulation and stuff will be in there and done. I bought some great stuff where we can put that in where there is the metal flashing underneath, just to make sure that there's actually insulation that's in there all the way through, because when I was shoving the black stuff, insulation through, I know it got in most of the way, but I don't think it went all the way to the end. I don't want to create any hot spots, especially when you've got air gap between the roof and the metal spot. It just got hot, and so we're gonna put great stuff in there for the parts we can't reach. The rest of it's all gonna be that black insulation stuff, and then we'll put the ceiling up and do ceiling and floor, and then we'll get the welding stuff done, and then it literally is coming along. And then once that's done, we got a flooring to put in. After the floor's in, then it's literally creating benches, creating bunks, creating some walls. Again, all that stuff's gonna be finished once the wiring stuff is done. We're getting close. Well, yeah, we're getting close. Out here on our hillbilly roller coaster, riding up and down over all the bumps, where snowplows took out so many chunks of asphalt. Well, it's kind of a rainy day today. But I just got a package in, actually 2 packages for new lights for the back of the bus. So even though there's a little bit that I have to do outside the bus, it should be pretty easy to be able to pop these in, and then once they're in, I can do all the connecting wires and stuff in the back. And while doing so, or at least looking at some of the wires, I realized why my backup camera wasn't working, because the wire came out of the connector of the taillight, so it wasn't actually allowing it to connect, or turn on. So I could do a manual mode, but I couldn't do it when I automatically put it in reverse. So good thing about all that is we're gonna go fix it and make it right. So we're gonna go out in the rain for a little bit and then jump in the back of the bus and start wiring all this stuff up so it'll be nice and bright. All right, so the first thing we need to do is get the light that is not working out of here. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that off, and okay, now that that's out, time to go put the next one in. Alright, so this one comes with a red, a black, and a brown. And the way that things were wired up before had a red, black, and then a white. However, the interesting thing is this white was put on this stud for the light that goes to the license plate. And then you have this one that was actually connected to it as well. So I think that's a common ground between all 3 lights. So we're gonna go ahead and set this up in a way to where it makes sense to me. And then if it doesn't work, then we'll rewire it and do it a different way. That didn't work out as planned. Well, so I'm gonna have to wait for a license plate light to come in. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is we'll wire everything else up, put a new bracket on this, so when a new one comes in, we'll just be able to slide it on there and be all set and good to go. Because I need to be able to make sure that those are the right connections that they need to make. So I'm gonna go test that real quick, and then yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so the way that I tested it worked out perfectly fine. So this is the ground that's gonna go there, and then we'll hook it back up this way, and then good thing is I know how to do the other side now. So I'm not super thrilled. I mean, these work out all right, so I think I'm going to use them to finish this up, but I am definitely going to wrap it with electrical tape afterwards to make sure that this has some stress relief, so it doesn't get pulled for any reason. So we'll keep on working. Before I jump over to the other side, I'm going to go ahead and work on getting the LED backup light out, because that is also attached to my camera hookup, and that has since disconnected, so I want to get that up and running again. So we'll pull the white LED out and start moving things around. And yeah, this is not going to stay this way as far as these grounding wires go. I will swap those out as soon as I get my new license plate light that comes in. So that should be here in the next day or two, hopefully. But we'll get this bottom light out, change it, swap it to LEDs, get it hooked up to the camera, and be all set. The other downside of all this, so we got the light in, the white, so the black is the reverse and white is for negative or ground. So we're going to go ahead and get these connected here, and then we need to get this and our reverse wire. Where did you go? We're going to have to redo this mess over here too. Alright, here we are. So black is actually the reverse light. So we'll do that there, and then those two will go together there. So since white's going to be, this mess is going to be a little bit more difficult, we're just going to go ahead and do the white ones now. Hey, bud.
Dad,
yep.
It's time to eat.
Okay. I'll be in just a second, okay, bud?
Okay.
Alright, so Bubba just came and told me it's time for dinner, but we're gonna see if this worked. So, since I'm out here by myself, I'm gonna walk up here and get stuff out of the way. Oh. Put the key in, turn, reverse, standby, yes. All right, so at least the reverse for the camera is working right. There's no fire going on in the back of the bus. We're gonna walk to the back and see, do we have a light? No, we don't. But we also don't have any of the other lights on. So I'm wondering, did I put it in neutral? Nope. Ha! I didn't put the lights on. Now we got the dinging. Alright, well, I got other marker lights, but I don't have reverse lights. And that one wasn't working before either, so might have wired it backwards. That doesn't really seem to make sense because, well, I'm gonna have to fight with that after dinner. All right, so dinner's over. In fact, dinner was over a day or two ago. I gotta be honest, I finished the lighting, but I was a little frustrated while doing it, and I was so confused that videotaping at the same time seemed like it was gonna be more confusing. So here is the rundown of what happened. I read the directions and it said that one set of lights was wired up one way. So I put it in there and I grabbed the other light and wired it up the same way, and it didn't work. So I cut the wires thinking it was just opposite, flipped it, plugged it in, tried it, still didn't work. So I got to thinking, there was a time that I was under the bus and I saw these random wires that were just kind of hanging down. I was like, I wonder what those are for, because I knew they weren't from the step because we had just ripped those out, or ripped the step out. So I traced the wires, and it's a gray wire with a red spiral on it. Trace that from the non-working light down under the bus, and it ended up being one of those wires that was hanging down there. And there was a second wire that was split, cut right next to it like this, that was going up to the other side. So curiously, I wired them both together, and lo and behold, I got backup lights. I figured out after a little bit of consideration that, oh yeah, this is a big bus. There was never a backup alarm when I had it, and turns out that those two wires was what that was for. It's just wired in line, so whenever it is powered and it's sending power through it to go to the other light, the backup alarm goes off. Now that I'm thinking about it, probably should get a backup alarm. I kind of like the fact that it doesn't have one, because I can back up when I get home late at night and it's not obnoxious and annoying. But I did find some articles about installing a backup alarm with a switch that allows you to be able to defeat the backup alarm when you don't want to, but doing it in a way to where it's not always off. So you can do it where it's a switch where you either turn it on or off when you go into reverse, or you can have it set up to where every time you go into reverse, it's going to automatically turn on, and you have to hit the button in order to be able to turn it off. It's a momentary switch. I haven't decided which way I'm going to go with it yet. In fact, I haven't decided whether or not I'm putting it underneath. I think I have to. So we'll figure that part out. But just to show you kind of the work that I did already, that is now wired up in the back, both LEDs. And on this side, we got, this was the troublesome light right down here, and everything is wired up. Brilliant. So now that we got all that done, I started working with some of the marker lights because I was still missing some stuff on there. When I jumped up there, turns out the light wasn't actually working properly. The bulbs were okay, or at least it would come on, go off, so I needed to get new ones of those. So I went to put the cover back on the marker light, and the cover shattered, which is a good indicator that it probably is old enough and needs to be replaced. So I ordered some of those. Those are coming in. We'll put all brand new marker lights around the entire bus since we've got everything off, and it'll be easier to wire all that stuff in once they're on the back. So yeah, it's coming along. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks. Oh, and one more quick story. So after I got the lights all working, I went to go take a picture, and I was like, let's see how everything looks lit up. So I turned all the lights on, and the problem was then all of a sudden the marker lights up top weren't working at all. Well, I don't remember if I showed you guys, but when I was working, there was one of like 5 cables that were all tied in together through one connector, and one of them came out. It's like, because it was rusted and fell apart. So I'm like, I should probably fix that. Well, I forgot about it. Turns out those are the marker lights. So I went ahead and wire stripped those, welded it all back together, or soldered it back together, and now all the marker lights work. And then the marker light story happened with me shattering the cover. So the good thing is, at least I know they are wired to work now. We just have to get them to work. So we'll get working on that. We'll wait till the order comes in and we'll keep trucking along.